Hey guys, I'm Christy. I like to cook and do lots of different things. My mom said my last video was too long, so I'm going to cut to the chase. This week we're having biscuits for breakfast, chicken salad for lunch, and chicken pot pie for dinner, and we're doing it all for under $25. I'm headed into my local discount grocer. First things first, we're in the produce, and I'm getting spinach for making salad. I like to use lemons for salad dressing and also to flavor my chicken salad. A bag of carrots here is $1.19, and these will go a long way. Next, we're getting a potato for the chicken pot pie and an onion to make my chicken stock and flavor the chicken. So delicious. Now we want to get a whole chicken. We'll use this to make chicken stock as well as our chicken salad and chicken pot pie. So make sure you get something that's big enough to last. Now we need one bag each of frozen green beans, frozen corn, and frozen peas. For some reason there's lots of corn here and not enough peas, so just pretend like that's actually a bag of peas. This Spanish language flour is 50 cents cheaper than the Pillsbury flour. On this channel, we don't discriminate against people or flour, so heck yeah, Spanish flour, let's go. We're getting a dozen eggs for breakfast. These ones look great and they're only $1.99. Now we're getting butter. There's a lot of options to choose from, and the cheapest one is $2.50. To choose between salted or unsalted, I just always get the salted and use less salt in my recipes. We need whole milk for our buttermilk biscuits and for the base of our chicken pot pie. Just remember to check the expiration date so you get the most mileage out of your dairy. Finally, I see that I have a little bit of money left in my budget, so I decide that I want to beef up my salad, and I go ahead and grab a cabbage because I love cabbage. As you can see, I got all of these groceries for under $25. We spent $24.76. Enough grocery shopping, it's time to get home and start cooking. Now for buttermilk biscuits. Do yourself a favor by sticking your butter in the freezer for at least 30 minutes before you use it. Now I'm going to show you a technique I learned at my first job when I was 16 years old, working in the bakery of a Southern Season in Chapel Hill. Get your 6 tablespoons of butter, and we are going to grate it. This is a handy dandy technique if you're making a massive amount of scones or biscuits, but it also just is really, really good for evenly distributing the butter, which is going to make amazing flaky biscuits. It also helps to have the butter stay really, really cold. So once I'm done grating, I'm going to just stick this butter to the side. I'll probably leave it in the freezer to stay really good and cold while I mix together my dry ingredients. Now I need my vinegar and 3/4 of a cup of milk to make my buttermilk. I'll put in my 2 teaspoons of vinegar, stir it up, and leave it to sit for about 20 minutes so it becomes buttermilk. Now for my dry ingredients. I need 2 cups of flour, a tablespoon of sugar, a tablespoon of baking powder, and half a teaspoon of salt. You can use a full teaspoon of salt if you're using unsalted butter. Make sure to use exactly 1 tablespoon of sugar and 1 tablespoon of baking powder. Otherwise, you'll make the same mistake I've made before and end up with sad, flat biscuits. Nobody wants sad, flat biscuits. Go ahead and stir the dry ingredients together. And then we'll add in the butter. Using a spoon or your bare hands, go ahead and mix the butter into the dry ingredients. Notice how easy it mixes in and distributes really, really well. Now add the buttermilk. And stir it around just enough so that the dough kind of clumps into a ball. It doesn't have to be perfect because you're going to do the rest of the work right here on this lightly floured surface. Now this is where the magic starts to happen. All you really need to do is fold the dough together a few times until it's more, what's the word for it? Cohesive? Stuck together? Manageable? You know, like until it's more together. And then we're gonna get serious. We're just gonna fold the dough a few times, and then we're gonna be ready to cut it. Folding the dough like this will help us get really, really nice layers in our flaky, delicious, buttery biscuits. Fold and press a few times. This will help to create those lovely flaky layers. And then gently press out your dough until it's about 1 inch thick. You can use a biscuit cutter, or if you're like me and you're something of a kitchen minimalist, grab the lid to a jar and cut out your biscuits. Let me take this moment to thank you for watching. My first video was hiding in the depths of YouTube, and you brought it to life with your views. So thank you, and please subscribe if you haven't already. If you're like me, you'll always end up with a little bit left over. This makes almost exactly 7 biscuits for me, and I have a little bit left over, just enough to make a little baby biscuit, a Baby Yoda biscuit. Now place the biscuits on a baking sheet and bake them at 425. In my oven, this takes 14 minutes. You're not supposed to do this while they're baking, but I want to see if you can hear the sound of the butter sizzling. That's happy, sizzling butter making delicious, flaky biscuits. It's been exactly 14 minutes and my biscuits are golden brown and ready to come out of the oven. Something great about these biscuits is that you don't really even have to cut them in half. Because of these delicious flaky layers, you can almost just pull them apart. Eat these for breakfast with butter and jam, or if you want something incredibly delicious and satisfying, fry an egg for an egg biscuit. The chicken stock is very simple. Place your chicken in a pot and fill it with water almost all the way to the top of the chicken. Salt and pepper the top before placing slices of onion. Cook over low heat for 2 to 3 hours. In a crock pot, you'll probably want 4 to 5 hours. This is how I clean the meat off the bone. I'm setting all this meat aside to use for my chicken salad and chicken pot pie. I've never been a big fan of organ meat, but some of you might know what to do with the organs. You can always use those if you want. Now strain the onions out of your broth, or you can be a cave woman like me and just use your bare hands. And ta-da! You've made 2 quarts of chicken stock and a whole lot of really juicy, delicious, flavorful chicken meat. Now for chicken salad. Set aside some chicken for the chicken pot pie and combine the rest of it with these ingredients to make chicken salad. Peel your carrot and grate it. Now add your choice of mayonnaise and mustard. Then squeeze the juice of 1 lemon. This is my secret weapon, apple cider vinegar, and you don't have to use it. I like tang, and I think this makes the salad extra tangy. Now we'll stir it up, and don't forget to add salt and pepper to taste. If you notice your salad is too dry, add a bit more mayo. When you're ready to eat, start with a bed of greens and add additional toppings, like shaved cabbage and thawed peas and corn from the freezer. Top with a spoonful of chicken salad. Use the dressing of your choice and enjoy. Last but not least, chicken pot pie. Start by cleaning your potato and then cut into bite-sized cubes. I'm using 3 carrots and I'm going to dice them. This will yield about 1 cup of chopped carrots. Using a tablespoon of oil, sauté the carrots and potato. Add salt and pepper and give it a good stir before covering to cook. These will only need about 5 minutes or just until tender and lightly browned. I made my chicken stock a day in advance and the fat has risen to the top. I'm not a fan of chicken fat, so I scoop it off and throw it away. I've also got my frozen veggies ready to go. Let's start the base of our chicken pot pie by melting the butter in a large pot over low heat. Add 1 cup of flour and start mixing. There may be a better way to make chicken pot pie, and you are welcome to share that in the chat box below. This is just how I know to do it, and it works. Once it looks crumbly like this, you are ready to add the milk. Remember that we are cooking on low. Your flour mixture will begin to take on the consistency of Play-Doh. Cook it like this on low for about 2 minutes, stirring constantly. Add in the chicken stock 2 cups at a time. And now you can turn the heat up to medium. Now it's time for a stir fest. Stir yourself ragged, or you can use a whisk. Once it starts to thicken and combine like this, I am ready to add another 2 cups of chicken stock. And then more stirring. But all that stirring pays off and it magically starts to thicken and look beautiful. Add the last 2 cups of your chicken stock, keep stirring, and you'll get this smooth and delicious base for your chicken pot pie. Now we get to dump all the goodies in there. Chicken, salt and pepper, potatoes and carrots, green beans, peas, and corn. Stir all this delicious together and warm it over low heat for just a few minutes. The real cooking will happen in the oven. Now you're ready to divide this goodness into oven-safe dishes and top with unbaked biscuits. Cover your pies with foil and bake at 425 for about 40 minutes. At 30 minutes, I uncover the pies to let the biscuits get brown and crispy on top. These pies may not look like much, but I promise you, they smell and taste amazing. You can serve your pot pie just like this, but if you have room in your budget for some rice, I highly recommend serving over rice. You can also freeze the unbaked pot pie and cook it later in the week. Just make sure to thaw it completely before baking. And you can always serve your pot pies with more biscuits. These are the most delicious, flaky, buttery biscuits. So good. Woo! The only ingredients I used that I did not include on my shopping list were vinegar, sugar, baking powder, salt and pepper, mayonnaise, and mustard. Cheers for now, and happy cooking!